good turnout and the good atmosphere for Kadani McAlpine and company. Now in his 4th season in charge. Off and running between Auburn in navy blue, trying to take a step toward Pensacola and the SEC tournament. Right now just hanging on to that 12th and last spot in the tournament field. Georgia in all white, trying to continue its winning ways and really put itself in pole position to earn a first-round bye. Neat combination passing early on from Auburn, and the shot from outside goes wide. But a promising start for a team that, Marion, you said needs to be aggressive today.
They do. There is a balancing act that's going to have to happen with the Auburn Tigers. As we mentioned, Georgia's got a ton of attacking threats up and down this roster. You can't leave yourself completely exposed, but just given the situation that Auburn finds themselves in late in the season, they have got to push to be the first one on the scoring sheet today.
Taylor Chisholm steps in to win that for Auburn. Team that just has 9 goals in 8 SEC games and has struggled closing out games when they do get a lead. But aside from the obvious payoff of goals, a lot of the underlying numbers give Auburn a better chance. And so we'll see if they can turn that into production today.
And that's really been the tough part for Auburn, is they're doing so much of the hard work, and they're doing so much right. When you look at expected goals, you look at touches in the opponent's 18-yard box, all of those key static markers, Auburn is near the top of the conference. It's really just been a matter of final action, final production.
This is Summer Denigan. We highlighted her. Pink headband. You have to know where she is at all time if you're Auburn, and Hayden Colson picked her pocket that time.
Colson's going to be a huge piece for Auburn this afternoon. She's really the cleanup worker in there, and she's done very well at it. She provides the balance for the center back screening, acts as more of the traditional holding midfielder, although we're going to see Erin Fleury roam in several different pockets here this afternoon.
We're used to seeing Erin Fleury out wide, and she was in the traditional holding midfield spot in that build-up. This is Layla Booker at the back, the Yale transfer, likely to stay in that center back spot rather than left of center where she was earlier this year. Kate Harden on the near side. Tried to get it to Maya Towns, and Jordan Crosby broke it up for Auburn. Beautiful evening temperature. Right around 70 degrees. Could be some heavy wind as this one goes. But they hope it'll be a night to remember for Georgia. That cross coming in low. Millie Filson couldn't get a shot off. Closed down quickly by Taylor Chisholm. And here is Erin Fleury on the break for Auburn. No whistle from Samantha Martinez, the referee. Play on.
Let's go, let's run!
And we welcome those of you coming over from volleyball. We're in Athens, Georgia. Georgia in white, number 19 in the country, top 4 team in the SEC if the season ended today. Auburn in navy blue, right at the edge of making the postseason or not. Number 12 and the top 12 get in, entering the day. Alongside Marion Crowder, I'm Jonathan Yardley. So glad you've kept us on. Auburn on the break right here with Dylan Driver. Cutting it back, Grace Ivy. Gonna let it go from distance, but can't put it on target. Marion, so much to play for both these teams. That play kind of shows you what we've seen so far. Auburn on the front foot.
Yeah, Auburn has done a really nice job coming in here with a strong mentality, and they're not afraid of transitional moments. Now, this is an Auburn side who, when we look at 2024 and we look at what they've done in 2025, there are some differences stylistically between Karen Hoppe and what James Armstrong is trying to do. This Auburn side trying to become a little bit more possession-oriented, but make no mistake about it, they still have the athleticism, the physicality to be dangerous in those transitional moments.
Speaking of transitional moments, Aaron Houston stepped onto that, finds Ivy in the middle, and it's closed down quickly by Kira Stouty, so indispensable for Georgia in the middle. Auburn quickly wins it back, though. You mentioned Karen Hoppe, the 26-year head coach of Auburn, retired after last season. And both these coaches were assistants at separate times on the Auburn staff. Kadani McAlpine, more years ago than James Armstrong, I'll put it that way.
The Karen Hoppe tree seems never ending.
And Auburn has had Georgia's number lately, unbeaten in the last 8 games between these teams, 6-0-2. Georgia hasn't beaten Auburn in 10 years. And Marion, the last Georgia win here was in 2006. As you see, James Armstrong came over from Mississippi State. Still felt like coming home for him, having coached under Karen Hoppe at Auburn. Free kick, one in the middle by Millie Filson, up top for Georgia. As you see, Kadani McAlpine, who's really taken this program to new heights since taking over in 2022. Actually beat Auburn on his way to that national title at USC in 2016. It's Auburn's best finish ever. Neat combination here. This is Maya Towns, 23 in white, very exciting freshman for the Dogs. Inside to her high school teammate, Ada Pinnell. Denigan brings in Kate Harden, one of the vets. And Jordan Crosby into the tackle for Auburn just in time. Well recovered by Harden to win a Georgia corner.
So when you look at this Georgia attack, and we showed you on the lineup card, a 3-4-3 traditionally, I want you to think about those 4 in the midfield almost wrapping around the 3 up top. Oftentimes, like we just saw, you'll see Maya Towns, Summer Denigan invert a little bit, which allows for isolation in the wide channels.
It's Maya Towns to deliver the corner. Bouncing around and in! Georgia strikes first! Last touch came off an Auburn defender. And it's a first career goal for Millie Filson in game number 50. What a moment.
Well, we knew coming in here that the weight of the first goal was going to be massive. This is a Sunday match. It's a little bit warm out here, and we're talking about postseason being on the line. And Millie Filson inserted into this starting 11 because of her aerial presence. And Kadani McAlpine looking like an absolute genius.
It's gone in the books as an own goal for the moment. I'm sorry, Millie. We're going to get you one at some point here.
It counts in my book, Millie.
Georgia 1, Auburn nothing. You're just joining us. Georgia came into the day tied for second in the SEC, competing for one of the 4 first-round byes that'll take you straight to the quarterfinals. Auburn came in 12th, tied for 12th, but ahead on tiebreakers by virtue of their head-to-head win against Texas A&M, which is in action later tonight. Games today and a game for everybody next weekend to determine who goes to the SEC tournament in Pensacola.
And we told you for Auburn coming into this, it was a bit of a situational.
Again, Towns' left-footed delivery is low, and Ayana Yapo scoops it up.
So Auburn was put into an interesting position coming into this game. Obviously, we've talked to you about just the importance of the postseason and where this game weighs with that. And so they made some tactical changes, but now we're even more situational soccer because they've got to chase the lead, and that changes a lot of things. on a Sunday.
And speaking of tactical changes, they just moved Aaron Houston to this side because they were getting torn up. Jordan Crosby is a converted attacker, getting torn up on the near side. So Aaron Houston, who's been defending for 4 years at Auburn, will play on the left for the moment.
And I'll take that on the attacking side of the ball as well, because what Jordan Crosby allows, moving her into a further back position than her traditional winger position, it actually allows some versatility for this Auburn attack. They can choose to overload with combination with Woodson or find different levels of isolation with them on opposite sides.
Auburn fired off the first couple of shots, but Georgia has looked dangerous with the ball. This is Pinnell inside, running between Filson and Denigan, and goes to the Auburn goalkeeper, Yapo. Yana Yapo, redshirt freshman from Phoenix. First year as the starter. Defense has really not been the issue for Auburn. They have struggled for goals in conference play. And so facing an early deficit is exactly what they did not want to see.
Just 4 goal scorers for the Auburn Tigers during conference play. I told you in the open that 64% of Auburn's total goals for the season coming off the feet of 2 different players in Olivia Woodson and Erin Fleury. By contrast, this is the Georgia side who has had 9 different goal scorers just in conference play.
We know that's obvious. Nobody wants to give up the first goal, but we emphasize it for Auburn because mentally they have not had to come from behind successfully much this season, or they've not been able to come from behind successfully much this season. Dylan Driver the target, but it's out of her reach, and the 17-year-old freshman Hannah Folliard, who reclassified to join Georgia a year early, collects it. Was able to get that throw over Woodson, but it worried Harden that she had to come get it. It will be a Georgia throw.
I'd like to put Kate Harden's numbers up against just about anybody in the conference. I do wonder if she doesn't run the most out of anybody.
That pass got to Driver of Auburn, able to turn Hernader for a second. Fleury tries it herself right at Folliard, but you can see the creativity Erin Fleury has. This is Harden on the near side, who Marion was talking about. Georgia's right wing back, 22. Minute, Georgia in front from a corner kick that's currently being credited as an own goal after a header by Millie Filson looked to be going wide, deflected in by a defender. You know who scored the last goal for Georgia against Auburn? Yeah, it was you.
I'm being told.
In what was unfortunately a 4-2 Georgia loss.
That was about the epitome of our season.
But for whatever reason, and most of that is Auburn being a very sound defensive team, Auburn has had Georgia's number over the years. Tide's starting to turn. Offside flag is raised. It'll be a free kick for Georgia coming out of the back.
You're spot on. Look, when we talk about the SEC and just the conference as a whole, one of the great selling points in terms of recruits is, hey, you get to face a different challenge every single week. You're going to have a team that is maybe stout defensively. You're going to have a team that's a bit more transitional. You're going to have a team that likes to build primarily. And one thing about Auburn, they always had some nuance to the way that they attacked, but one thing about them, I don't know if I was ever more intimidated and had to mentally get myself up for a game more than having to go face the Auburn Tigers, because you knew that it was going to be a physical battle. You knew that you were going to take some hard hits, and it was going to be a very, very up.
Here. Made some improvements since your day.
Oh, man, have they.
Improvement number 1, maybe the possession game on the field as you see him move it side to side. This is Pinnell, number 9. Unable to connect that time with Maddie Baker up there. Georgia wins over both North Carolina and Michigan earlier this year, as well as a tremendous game against UCLA. That shot's deflected, and Yapo does well to keep it on the field and avoid a corner kick. And so Georgia at 9-3-4 has very real NCAA tournament aspirations this year. They've taken on the big teams this year and not been phased.
The key for Georgia coming into the season was how quickly the young players could adjust. You knew they had some special talent, and really across the country you're seeing a lot more newness with the COVID year going away. You're seeing a lot more freshmen, a lot more transfer impacts this year than we have in recent years. And that was on the call at their very first game of the season versus UCLA. It was a good performance, but looking back at that game and looking at just the development over the course of the season for these players, it's been tremendous. I mean, Maya Towns is a wonderful example of that. Completely different player than when she started the season.
Georgia starts 3 freshmen. They bring 2 more off the bench for big minutes, and they have a 6th who's at the Under-17 Women's World Cup with Mexico. They also lost 2 of their veteran transfers due to injury, and the performance really has stayed at a high level. One of the other transfers, 2 of the transfers, Booker and Conte at the back. Now Kate Harden. Past Woodson. Finds herself surrounded and keeps it moving. Flurry is on Denigan at the moment. Arkansas man-marked both Denigan and Towns. Georgia still came out with a 1-0 win over the conference leader. Gracie Brown shielding that one all the way out for Auburn. Now, you know women's sports take over the afternoon every Sunday on the SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app. You're seeing it this week. Next week starts at 1 Eastern with volleyball, Oklahoma hosting Auburn. And then a soccer doubleheader, Vanderbilt against South Carolina. Great matchup. A couple of them may need a result in that one. Every game next weekend is going to be so tight.
My favorite part about Decision Day is watching you play-by-plays get your boards together with your different scenarios. It just takes over the whole entire booth. I'll be on the very last game. That Kentucky-Texas is really fighting for the life.
Texas A&M tied with Auburn coming into the day for the final spot in Pensacola, both with 7 points. Texas A&M actually has more wins, but Auburn beat Texas A&M head-to-head. Dominated that game in terms of shots, didn't get the winner until late, and that has them in possession of the tiebreaker. Transferred in from Kansas, where they won the Big 12 title last year. Bit of a Cinderella run as the number 6 seed. Oh, Harden got a step, got it across, and it's cleared away by Crosby. Georgia keeping the pressure on, though. This is Maddie Hernader, one of those freshmen. Denigan for once caught flat-footed there. Colson took it away. What do you make of Auburn, Marion, switching its shape for one of the biggest games of the year? You know, how much time do you have to train that, and how prepared can you be to execute it?
I think it was really going to be a circle with Erin Fleury and what her ability to roam in and out of the pockets was going to be. She's had a little bit more recognition as the game has gone on, those times to release a bit forward. But that's what Georgia does to you. And Kadani McAlpine will be the first one to tell you that he preps for a team and then all of a sudden they change exactly what they're going to do. But this is a good opportunity.
Aaron Houston getting forward. That cross is deflected. Grace Ivy lashes it just wide at the near post. You saw the danger. They switched Houston to this near side. And she got forward to create. We're joined by former Georgia player and current NWSL star, Croy Bethune. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
How often do you get back?
Not that
What's it like
often.
being back?
Yeah, I don't get back.
Didn't I just see you on my TV yesterday? Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, I don't get back too often. I try to, and when I can get back, I try to make a Georgia soccer game. So we're here today.
Well timed.
Yeah.
Croy, I feel like we could take this interview and to this Georgia program, and obviously Kadani McAlpine. We were just talking about my playing years at Georgia, very different than what Kadani is building here. Give the viewers at home a little bit of insight into the kind of coach he is and kind of what his priorities are, and the reason that you really wanted to follow him here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough decision for him to leave FC, but I feel like coming to Georgia, he knew what he wanted to do, building Georgia within the SEC, within the whole SEC, but mainly the program. I mean, Kadani, he's a great coach, and that's just me saying the slightest things.
Yeah.
But
You're underselling.
But besides, what I like to emphasize with SC, and that's a long journey. So I've had him for 5 years now, and not necessarily being comfortable, but being somewhere where I'm respected, where they know me, and honestly, he just wants me to be a better person, even if that's just a soccer player or off the field. So I feel like what he's doing here with the players and the program, it'll benefit everyone in the most positive way.
I feel like that's a key distinction that you make there, and something that coaches don't often get praised for enough of is how do you balance, right, creating a team environment, but also making sure the individual development is there. And I think that's something that Kadani has been spot on with. And for those listening, just a couple names that you'll probably know. Coach Savannah DeMello, Racing Louisville, obviously Croy Bethune in the booth with us. So he's definitely got his name to it.
They're going to stop the game right away because Erin Houston took that one square in the head. And credit to her, she gets right back to her feet, but anybody would need a minute after that. And I want to go back to what you said about not always being comfortable, right, but always knowing he had your back and was supportive. What did that look like? What were some moments maybe that you go back to where, boy, you were called on the carpet, you were uncomfortable, but you knew it was driving you towards something more productive?
Right. I mean, to answer both of y'all's question, it's corny, but there is no I in team, but the team is built up within individuals, and that individual has their own personality, their own flair of what they can bring to the game that can build that team to be stronger. I mean, for me, there are instances like injury. I mean, Kadani's been with me throughout all of my injuries, to be honest, except for the last one, and he's seen me grow within soccer as a person, but like building that character on the field and that mental strength, he understands me, so
well, it's obviously playing dividends. Yeah, obviously, for those that don't know, Croy was the 2024 NWSL Rookie of the Year, a huge accomplishment. Across that Washington Spirit team, there are several big college names that you guys have you've become such an entertaining brand of football.
Right.
If you had to go back and tell young Croy anything, because that's a very difficult landscape to navigate, especially as a rookie, and for those that are listening that want to be like you, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say the path isn't going to be easy. I mean, some people think that it can be a smooth ride. Some will have ups and downs. Everyone's journey is different. And just be the best version of yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, it's you against you. You're the only one that's with yourself all day, every day. So learn and be the best version of yourself.
Very well said. And, you know, we were talking a lot about just how the recruiting landscape has changed, not only from a high school perspective, right, but also from the recruiting landscape within the college game, because now you have the transfer portal and then no NWSL draft anymore, so that changes a whole different levels.
Yeah, I mean, preparation, staying ready so you don't have to get ready, but living in the moment, learn from where your feet are in the ground, so in the future you're prepared and you feel at your best.
Auburn has brought on Jessica Osborne here while Houston recovers. You can do that with head injuries, so that won't count against their substitutions. How confident are you with the Spirit right now? Second place in the NWSL. Playoffs coming up, you know, Champions Cup, check mark, advanced.
Right.
What's the vibe right now?
I mean, we're in a pretty great spot.
Yeah, you
are.
Yeah.
Can't complain. One more game until playoffs, which we're excited for, home playoffs, so that'll be very exciting at Audi Field.
Decision Day's coming up. It's going to be a chaotic one, huh?
Very crazy. Every day the table changes. It's crazy.
I swear. It's been a joy calling this season, because I feel like, to your point, I mean, one result can affect 3 or 4 different teams in the table. For those that don't know, NWSL Decision Day is getting close. November 2nd, I believe you guys are November 1 for your last game of the season.
Yes, ma'am.
She just ma'amed you.
I know. Jonathan, we're old. We're old. We were just talking about my glory days and how much
the last goal Georgia scored here against Auburn, she scored.
Wow.
It was that long ago. No offense.
No,
we
no.
lost. We lost, so it doesn't matter.
Y'all, Southern hospitality is real.
I hear that. We're talking with Croy Bethune from Alpharetta, Georgia. Came back, played her last year of college ball with Georgia, and now starring in the pro ranks. As we watch Kate Harden go to work and wins a corner for Georgia. What was it like coming from, it was coming home, but SC is such a different environment than coming here. What did it feel like to be back among your people?
It was great to be back home. I mean, I still had a lot of that home piece with the staff with me.
Yeah.
Not just Kadani and Jason and Sammy, like the physical part, the mental part, the medical part, a lot of family members in that staff, and then just being back in my home state near family and friends that can come down the street to watch me play.
Second time Georgia got a really clear look from a corner, and that was blocked out of the 6 defensively.
Yeah, set piece defending right now for Auburn, a bit of a struggle point, and we talked about their situational differences, the way that they changed their shape a little bit coming in to deal with this Georgia team in the run of play. Well, it's really been the dead ball moments that have caused them the most problems. Croy, take me inside the mind of a player right now, and I want to go back to kind of the different levels that we've seen you at. Biggest adjustment from high school club ranks into the collegiate environment, what is it?
I could say, I feel like for a lot of people, the mental game. For me, I had injuries, so that kind of made my journey a little harder. But you learn a lot. You learn a lot along the way.
How about from the collegiate ranks to the pro ranks?
I would say how much time is taken. I mean, the season is twice as long as college. It might be the same amount of games, but honestly, from preseason starting in January and to possibly ending on November, that's a whole year. So really allowing your body to get used to that long schedule.
Erin Houston checked back in, so that's really good to see after she took a shot to the head earlier, and Shelby Salee checks in for Auburn as well.
Corey, one of the things I feel like you're most known for, especially on display at the collegiate level when we got to watch you play, was just your recognition of how to shift defenses with your movement off of the ball. And then even the cheekiness in your vision, right, to make a defense feel like you're going to the left, and then you find the vision and the cheeky pass that slipped down to the right. How did you grow that level of your game? Was it film? Was it reps? Was it, tactical boards? What was it that helped you the most?
For me, just kind of natural ability, and the more games and practices that I had and went to, it's just kind of repetition and reading what the defense gives you. I've been playing FIFA often, so it's kind of like I was playing FIFA in real life, and then just
so gaming. That's the key.
Right
that's
now,
the key, everyone.
That's what everyone's going to take away. It's going to be Croy says I should play more video games.
Right now, FIFA 2026.
All the parents are like, oh my gosh.
Croy, thanks so much for your time. It's great to see you here. We're looking forward to watching you finish out the season strong.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, you are a wonderful representation of what the college game can develop you in terms of being ready for the pro ranks so early. So it's been a joy. Thank you for taking the time.
I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Go Dogs.
Maya Towns in the penalty area for Georgia. Cross comes right back to Baker. Auburn has been forced increasingly to sit back in its own half and look for opportunities on the counter, Marion. That could be a long day.
Not at all what you want to see, because one of the trademarks of this Georgia group from a defensive standpoint is kind of how they ebb and flow out of different looks of pressure. So sometimes they'll sit with a little bit of a higher line of confrontation. Sometimes they'll be content with a little bit of a lower line of confrontation. But once they get you locked in, particularly on the outer channels with the fullbacks having the ball, that's when they cause a lot of dangerous turnovers.
Georgia made its first 2 changes of the game. BK Harris came in for Millie Filson. That's going to push Maya Towns up to the forward spot. Harris will go one of the underneath roles. And then the other change with Devin Winters replacing Ada Pinnell like for like in the holding midfield spot. Another neat move from Erin Houston getting forward, showing it on both sides. Go on, Erin Houston. Good effort. And to her left, Hannah Folliard makes her second save of the game.
Well, that's Erin Houston just slaloming through this Georgia back line. And that's going to have to be something that Auburn is okay with. Georgia does not want to give up that quick combination play at the top of the 18-yard box that Auburn oftentimes likes to create. And so Auburn's going to have to be okay with, at times, testing Folliard from distance.
I don't openly root, but I like a good defender getting forward and taking. When we outside backs get forward.
Outside backs, you center backs, you all want to score. You say defense wins championships, but you all want to score.
Y'all forwards get the glory. Comparing me as an outside back to Marion as a forward in terms of accomplishments is really not what we started the day planning on.
Well, comparing my brace to what Croy Bethune has done is also so you know what, we're even.
30th minute, Georgia in front from a 15th minute corner kick goal.
I do want to take some time and just say first and foremost, her ability, they played yesterday, a 3-2 loss unfortunately for them to the Orlando Pride. Doesn't hurt them in the NWSL standings whatsoever.
Erin Fleury racing forward for Auburn. This is one of those transition moments they need to go their way. Falls for Ivy. Didn't get much power behind the shot, and Folliard able to leap to it.
Well, this is much better from Auburn, and that's the recognition that we talked about with Erin Fleury. When can you take the available space? When can you pick yourself a little bit into a wider situation to find the 1v1s? A really nice piece of attacking effort there from Auburn. But the final piece, that's really been the story for the Auburn Tigers. They've done enough to score a lot of goals in a lot of games.
Well, it's nothing against Grace Ivy, but their 2 best chances have fallen not to their best goal scorers, which are Fleury and Woodson, who is out of the game at the moment. Auburn in a 5-back now. And heavy foul right in front of the Auburn bench. It'll be a free kick coming up for Georgia. And it is Virginia Odom who came on the left, who was shaken up.
Crosby just a little bit late with that nifty touch from Odom.
You've got like 3 left wingbacks. How do you get minutes for all of them if you're Georgia? They put 2 of them in against Texas. They both scored. Summer Denigan pressuring that back line. Taylor Chisholm was right with her.
But to that point, I actually think that it alludes to what Croy was talking about, not only with Kadani as a coach, but kind of as a player. The big takeaway, and we could spend hours talking to Croy Bethune about, you know, what has given her a roadmap to success, because she certainly found it. But the trust in her individual skill set was really what stood out to me in that interview, and something that I want to encourage any player watching this game. The more you can trust your individual skill set, better off you're going to be.
Dylan Driver didn't have the angle at first, leaves it for Ivy again, and again she forces Folliard into a save. Hannah Folliard equal to everything Auburn's thrown at her in this half.
In fairness, that's twice now for Grace Ivy, where I don't think that she's gotten enough on that. That was a tough angle, a tough ball back with a lot of pace. Well done, right idea just to take that with the first touch. Hannah Folliard. So we were told before this game by the wonderful Auburn SID Tucker that there were going to be some game plans intact for this Auburn side, just in terms of some formation shifting, some personnel shifting. I'm not going to go into colors that were used, but there was a visual signal given to these Auburn players when they wanted to shift into a bit of a 5-back here.
Free kick to Georgia as Summer Denigan is fouled.
And this is where Summer Denigan is at her most dangerous. She finds that pocket of space right in front of the back line, or right to the left or right of the holding midfielder. Her first touch, so quick to turn, so quick to accelerate into space.
Denigan to send this in as well. Asakante was the target. Never got to her. Georgia goes backward for Layla Booker. Harden steps past her defender. Sliding tackle at the edge of the penalty area from Gracie Brown for Auburn. Great switch, finds Odom. Cross blocked by Jordan Crosby, out for another Georgia corner. This is their third corner. They scored from the first, got a clean header at the edge of the 6 on the second. So Auburn needs to tighten up that marking, or that zoning is what it looks like right now. They'll go short. Denigan gets it back, but trying to support her, and just not enough there. Odom got back to break things up. Well-timed pressure from Ivy to pick that pass. We got 2 blue shirts against 5 white ones right now. Crosby right-footed delivery, and it was Gracie Brown arriving. You can see her mother, the West Virginia head coach, Nikki Izzo Brown, when you zoom in tight on Gracie Brown. She got ahead to that. Now, a reminder, our next True South here on SEC Network coming up Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Focusing on finding beauty and truth with John T. Edge, traveling around Ocean Springs, Mississippi, the legendary Walter Anderson Museum, and visiting it says this here, a Thai temple where monks walk fry cashew chicken. So I don't know how we cannot watch that now.
I'm from Mississippi.
That's what I'm right?
I'm a little confused, very intrigued.
Right.
A little confused. But very intrigued.
Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, SEC Network, and the new ESPN app.
I'm sure you read that right.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Hand you the piece of paper.
Well, that last attacking spell for Auburn, that was a much better job. Poor clearance.
Maya Towns boxing in there. Boxing out, I should say. Boxing would have probably drawn a card. Auburn able to clear.
It was much better recognition for the Auburn Tigers. They transitioned quickly into the final third, but realized that it wasn't on, and did a really nice job involving Jordan Crosby. She was the one that sent that service in to Brown. Those decisive moments going to be key if Auburn wants to get back in this one.
Clara Casajuana and Layla Cerda on for Auburn. Casajuana right here from Barcelona. Aaron Houston looking long for the run of Cerda. Hannah Folliard out to get it. While Booker and Cerda, 38th minute. Georgia feels very in control of this game thanks to that 15th minute goal. But Auburn Marion is in the right spot.
Yeah, no doubt. And through the run of play, Auburn has arguably had the better opportunities.
Taylor Chisholm, the North Carolina State transfer, played that one out for Auburn.
Substitution for Georgia, entering number 29, Tyler Caseta. For number 4,
Tyler Caseta on for Georgia.
And entering the game for Auburn, number 5, Jessica Osborne.
And Jessica Osborne in for a second time. You normally can't do that, but when your first was due to a head injury, re-entry. So that's taking off Fleury, their goal scorer, for a center back. So that's out and out, embracing the 5 back for Auburn now, and both Crosby and Houston will be in attack. This is Devin Winters, who, as usual, will play multiple positions within her stint. Started in the midfield when she came on as a sub, and now part of the back line. A little bit of a loose touch there, but she recovers well. Stouty getting to keep it 1-0. May have saved Auburn's chances in this game for the moment.
That was a big time save.
Missed kick there, though. Summer Denigan trying to pounce and send it well wide. She couldn't get her body around the ball at the last second, but it's all happening at that end of the field.
Well, Stouty is just so good breaking lines on the dribble. It's a nice ball into Maya Towns, but Yapo, my goodness. What a big time save, and then nearly erased every good thing she did with that clearance, but well done to her 2 center backs for coming up big in that one.
Asha Means on for the first time today for Auburn. Again, Sunday game, everybody played Thursday. You're going to see a lot of legs, a lot of in and outs in the second half as well. Maya Towns surrounded there. Georgia vertical enough for you. And on cue, Auburn comes up with the ball. Layla Serta has Gracie Brown making the run. BK Harris backtracking for Georgia. See the idea there from Chisholm at the back. Pass took a deflection. Lily Devereaux, whose name we haven't called very much, freshman starting for Auburn, played it forward. So to go back to the question, is Georgia in this game direct enough, or with the 1-goal lead, do they not need to be?
I don't think that that's what this game calls for. In fact, if I'm Georgia, I'm actually thinking about going left and right a little bit more, because Auburn right now is content to chase. And my argument for the Auburn defensive presence is they haven't done a good enough job pinning Georgia to one side. For instance, once Conte gets the ball, or once the left center back for Georgia gets the ball, there is no commitment in terms of the predictability to keep it to the left or the right. And so if I'm Georgia, it's all about horizontal movement. Make them chase, wear them down in terms of fatigue. Georgia on the back line. This Georgia side, their 2 outside mids, they're going to get up and look like forwards oftentimes. And so Auburn having to deal with a numbers situation on the back line.
Auburn forced the turnover there. We go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Yapo. part of the Air Force ROTC unit at Auburn, has to balance her ROTC commitments with her soccer commitments. One of the more unusual instances in the conference. But she was fascinated by the books Why Planes Crash when she was a kid, and so she wanted to be a part of solving that issue. Pretty cool story for the Auburn goalkeeper. She's been busier than she'd like in this one. Coming up on the final minute of the first half, Auburn has created chances, trying to finish some, as has been the case for much of SEC play. Hayden Colson on the ball. Tough pass from Chisholm. Brown had two on her. Crosby to Serda out wide. Target in the box, looking for Casajuana, just out of her reach. Still pressure, and finally cleared by Harden as we go into the final 10 seconds of the half. Really interesting half. Georgia got the early goal, which has them in pole position here, but Auburn. Underway in the second half, Georgia with a 1-0 lead, trying to consolidate its place in the SEC's top four and earn a bye to the quarterfinals at the SEC tournament. Auburn in navy blue trying to gain ground on Texas A&M in the battle for the final spot in Pensacola, and trying to come from behind for the first time this season to gain a result. Georgia almost completely back to its starting lineup, but Virginia Odom is at left wing back. Asakante will collect this one for a throw-in for the Bulldogs. Auburn back to the same starting group, but not necessarily the same shape as the way they started the day. This is Summer Denigan, 10 in white for Georgia, back to Odom. Lily Devereaux, the freshman center back, with a hard tackle on Denigan that goes uncalled, and the throw-in goes Auburn's way, much to Summer's surprise. I'm Jonathan Yardley, she's Marion Crowder. Marion, what are you looking for in the second half? What does each team need to do to get its way?
Well, we came on the air talking about the differences in mentality right now for both groups, because they both need something different. They're both fighting for a little bit of something different. For Georgia, it's got to be disciplined. This has to be one of the most disciplined 45 minutes that you play. A 1-0 lead, very, very dangerous. And for Auburn, I want to see that mentality switch, that hunger, that determination in the final third.
Throw in for Jordan Crosby. She and Aaron Houston now on the same side, with Houston at left center back for Auburn. That's picked off straight up the middle by Baker. Maddie Baker lets it go, but saw it twist off her foot and wide of the target.
Well, this is how Georgia's shape can really start to affect you, because they push so many numbers forward against your back line. As a back line, you actually find yourself dropping deeper and deeper. What that opens up is all kinds of space on top of the 18-yard box for players like Maddie Baker to go into. Good recognition there, just not the final action she wanted.
We've seen both center backs, just to the off center backs, if you will, the right center back and the left center back, willing to step high and hard to start this second half, knowing they have the cover of Layla Booker and the other one behind them. Filson chases this one, sliding tackle. Well won by Chisholm for Auburn. Ball straight up the middle for Woodson. Offside flag is up against Olivia Woodson. She had 11 goals last year in a 3-5-2, Marion. 5 goals this year. She's farther from goal out wide. There's benefits to it, but again, you want your scoring chances to fall to your most clinical players.
I like her higher up the pitch here in this second half. What you just saw, although it was a bit of an untimely call for Olivia Woodson, the recognition of that run off the center back's back shoulder, that's one of the things that makes her so dangerous.
Jordan Crosby with the cutback. She's from Alpharetta. Lots of family and friends here, but another offside flag as she tried to connect with Woodson.
One of the small little nuances that we talked to you about in the first 45 minutes was kind of the balance and the difference that Jordan Crosby and Olivia Woodson can offer this group, because James Armstrong can kind of play with a little bit of different tactics with them being on the same side. You have an overload of talent, which we see right now. Earlier in the first half, we saw them on opposite sides, and that forces defenders to have to be wary of both the left and the right. So a lot of versatility that those two players can offer James Armstrong.
Three players from Georgia in the Auburn starting lineup with Erin Houston, Jordan Crosby, and Dylan Driver. So there's a lot of mates, now foes today. And content with that lead, but not wanting to sit on it per se. See a couple of big steps from Baker to start this second half. Kate Harden inside. Millie Filson back to goal. Asakante's cross going to drift on her, and it'll be a goal kick for Ayana Yapo and Auburn. There is Ayana Yapo. With me, she met with the ROTC commander. I would have sworn she was 25, not 16. She knew what she was doing with her life, and the question was, would this be the place for her to do it? And the answer was yes.
What an impressive individual.
Hannah Folliard, almost a moment to forget as the pressure closed in and that ball just rolled agonizingly wide.
Well, this is also why that's great recognition, great sellout from Olivia Woodson, and that's the kind of mentality I'm talking about to start this second half. Oftentimes, to get your team going, get them back in a game, you need those individual moments, a big tackle one, just like that one, to really ignite the spark going forward.
Her opposite number, Yapo, has to deal with that first time and gives it away. This is Kira Stouty, ever present for Georgia. Backward to Pinnell. Odom goes to work. Erin Fleury, normally an attacking player, stayed right with her. Odom, redshirt sophomore last year, but played and started some as a freshman. Scored against Texas. Again, 3 of their 4 goals in the 4-2 win in Austin came from their left wingbacks. Glad to see Folliard not shy to come out of the box to use her feet with that one. Filson is offside, and the flag is up. Be a free kick to Auburn. Still not going to give her the goal, by the way. Halftime score sheet came out, own goal. That would have just added to Georgia's depth of scoring and the way they spread it around. Where do they rank for you in an SEC tournament? Again, let's say it started next week instead of 2 weeks. Where does Georgia rank in terms of the favorites?
You know what's interesting? My mom asked me a similar question the other day.
Great.
She was checking in, and how's work? How's soccer looking? What teams are good this year? We had this whole conversation, And my honest answer, I paused for a moment, and I said, you know what, Mom? Actually, I think the Georgia Bulldogs really have a chance. You know why? The key in an SEC tournament, we've already kind of laid out how tough the schedule can be. It's a lot of games in a short amount of time. We can get into all that at a different time. But with the current state of the SEC tournament, the key to it is having depth and having versatility. And one of the things about this Georgia Bulldogs side that is different in recent years is this is arguably the most versatile attack that I've ever seen from a Georgia Bulldogs side. And more than that, they have different players. I mean, just look at Maddie Baker, right? Acting as one of the 3 center backs. That's not her typical position, right? Typically more of that outside midfielder for the Georgia Bulldogs. Kadani McAlpine has a lot of unique player profiles that can rotate throughout this entire shape, and I think that depth, that versatility actually bodes them quite favorably for a tournament that's set up the way the SEC tournament is.
Did you really say the Georgia Bulldogs to your mom? That's the way you said it?
Actually, I did. I have to preface with her because she's a Mississippi State alum.
So
in her mind,
okay, that helps.
Yeah,
that helps explain that.
Says. Aside from that, I think that South Carolina is always stout out at the SEC tournament. And don't sleep on Kentucky. They have been just going about their business silently, really doing a nice job.
Now you're watching it, so you may already know, but women's sports take over the afternoon every Sunday on the SEC Network and, of course, in the all-new ESPN app. Next week, it'll start 1 Eastern with volleyball, Auburn against Oklahoma, and then a soccer doubleheader with Vanderbilt taking on South Carolina at 3. They both would like quarterfinal buys, and Kentucky taking on Texas A&M at 5. All of that next weekend on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
This is shaping up to be a really interesting decision day. We've had a couple over the years, but this one has the potential in a couple weeks to really have a lot of question marks still left in terms of who is getting in, what seed.
Do we need simultaneous kickoffs? I know we like to have a doubleheader, but would you rather see
as long as I can watch them all.
Eight simultaneous
That's the horrible
games?
part about calling a game that day.
It gets you an 8-box?
Exactly. Love being on decision day, but it's also I need about 8 different screens to know what scenario is happening.
I don't mind two windows with 4 games each. That'll work for me. Fourth corner kick for Georgia. Remember, not to keep telling you, but they scored from a corner kick in the 8th minute to open the scoring. They got another very clean look. Both of those came from Maya Towns' deliveries, and the freshman stands over the ball again here. Took most of her players away from the 6. Still got Denigan a look. Somewhere in the penalty box ready to pounce, but the proof's in the pudding. They're pretty dangerous with those deliveries. '58th minute here. Georgia leads from an 8th minute own goal. Lily Kate Elphick just in. We told you this is their 3rd left wing back of the game. She scored a spectacular goal in Austin on Thursday, and she wins a corner kick here. On short with Denigan and Towns. 2-woman game on this near side potentially. Instead the switch. Too high for Filson, and it'll be a goal kick.
Substitution for Auburn, entering the game number 3, Shelby Salee, for number 16, Dylan Driver.
Shelby Salee returns to the game for Auburn. A starter last year when they were playing 2 up front. Just had to come off the bench this year. 2nd year with the Tigers after transferring from Xavier. Again, this goes to, instead of Dylan Driver being the closest to goal, Olivia Woodson is the closest to goal for Auburn. They've actually moved Erin Fleury up to play under her, and Shelby Salee is going to play wingback. Some pressure here. Nothing phases Folliard, they say. Even that dangerous tackle earlier that rolled wide of the target. And you can see just how true that is. Lily Devereaux, freshman on the other side. She races tractors in her spare time or did in high school, as the president of the Future Farmers of America chapter at Weddington High School. My first tractor racer I've ever called.
Me too.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing. I thought that James was kidding.
I wouldn't put it past a lot of the coaches we talked to
Right.
to just drop
They're
that
like,
in there.
hey, let me see if you'll actually say this on air as a little trick.
First of all, yes, I will.
I will as well.
But second of all,
no coach is listening to this. Does that mean that you guys get to play tricks on us during our calls now?
second of all, I looked it up, and there's evidence. You have to look at her up under her full name. You can't look for Lily. That's the trick. Erin Fleury on the ball for Auburn. Brown going to try it from distance, and it twists and turns wide and high.
Two things. That's exactly why I said coming into the second half I wanted to see Erin Fleury in a more central position. She is very good right underneath as that support, as that attacking midfielder. But then we go back to what James Armstrong said he wanted to see more of in the second half. Patience with the final action, whether that be the shot selection or the pass that you need to make. So one instance working really well for him, and another instance not doing what he asked for in the second half.
Woodson is flying around like a woman possessed up front, and that is good news for Auburn. Junior from Richmond, Virginia. She didn't wait for Auburn to contact her. She contacted Auburn in the recruiting process, and Ben Madsen, the associate head coach, certainly found it a call worth taking.
I have a lot of respect for Olivia Woodson as a player. I think that when she is healthy and she's at her best, she is arguably the hardest player to take the ball away from in this conference. The way that she moves with the ball. There are fast players, and then there are fast players with the ball. And Olivia Woodson is both. Ian Carey and I get to do the SEC preview show every year, and sometimes we have limited information to work with, but if I had that early to make my prediction of SEC Player of the Year, it was Olivia Woodson.
I love hearing the reactions here. This crowd's so into it, and the collective groan as Lily Kate Elphick made a divot just outside the penalty area. Asa Conte. Now, we told you Georgia didn't love the performance Thursday night. They were tied 2-2 at the half against Texas, went on to win it 4-2. But Kadani McAlpine said essentially, I was like, can we get my team back off the airplane? Like, where'd they go? What leads to moments like that, and how do you find your way back?
Well, you know what? This is a really interesting time in conference play. October's tough, and I think that as much as we enjoy watching these athletes kick a ball around, we have to remember there's a student in front of that word. And so right now, school starts to get heavy, right? You have midterms that you have to study for, and these are perfectionists. That's what gets them at the top of the level. And so when you have kind of the weight of school, you're in this different travel rotation. I would actually argue that having a split weekend is pretty tough to deal with. Traveling on 1 week, or traveling on a Thursday and then playing at home on a Sunday. Your road routine, your home routine, those are two very different things for players to have to deal with right now, and those performances are going to happen. But the key part to that is the response, and what a response Kadani McAlpine got in the second half of that game.
Georgia trying to stay in that top 4 to get a first-round bye. Auburn trying to stay in the tournament places. Again, top 12 out of 16 in the SEC make it to Pensacola. Auburn began the day tied with Texas A&M for 12th. Auburn does hold the head-to-head tiebreaker on the Aggies, who are in action against South Carolina. Haley Gordon in up top for Georgia for the first time today. And Clara Devereaux finds Erin Fleury out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Wasn't really recruited by UNH, and when she finally got to play in her first college game, guess who it was against? UNH for Syracuse, and she scored. And she said, Little you has been wanting to do this your whole life. It was a surreal moment to actually do it. She came up with the steal here. Woodson's shot blocked by a recovering Layla Booker in the middle of that Georgia back line. Understand there's no score yet between Texas A&M and South Carolina as we go back to that last chance.
Well, look how quick Olivia Woodson is, trying to find an open window for a prep touch. Her defensive presence has been electric in the second half.
Great switch there from Crosby to get it to Salee. Erin Fleury back to goal. She was Syracuse's main scoring threat for 3 years. Spent the spring semester at Florida State and winds up playing the season at Auburn. Salee was almost in there, and Elphick at the last second realized she had company and swung it out of bounds.
Corner kick, Auburn.
Well, Georgia nearly caught sleeping there on the backside. That's really well done from Auburn. Recognition moments are getting better and better as this half goes on. And it feels like momentum is really starting to favor the visiting side.
I don't think anyone was sure who should take that corner, and so, oh, it's a throw, that's why. There was confusion about which it was. Salee with the restart, with the delivery. Taylor Chisholm calling for it. Aaron Houston floats it into the box. Fleury is there, and Hannah Folliard able to knock it down and hold it on one bounce.
How about that run from Taylor Chisholm? That was actually probably the target of that service. Center back trying to get up on the score sheet. Excellent run and recognition from her.
Fleury won that one from Pinnell. Casajuana, Colson. Aaron Houston for Auburn. Ball stays with Auburn, setting up shop now in the Georgia half. Attacking toward the northwest end here at the Turner Soccer Complex. They watch from the stands, they watch from the hill. They've watched their team lead this one since the 8th minute. Shelby Salee, long diagonal. She had runners, and it was maybe 3 feet in front of them, and out for a goal kick. Now, our next True South is coming up Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the all-new ESPN app. John T. Edge traveling around Ocean Springs, Mississippi. It'll be another great show Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
Entering for Auburn, number 11, Augie Brown.
So Woodson came out there to get a breather before she closes for Auburn, you presume. So Erin Fleury is up top. Margie Brown is into the midfield. For Georgia, B.K. Harris and Virginia Odom back on the field. And Devin Winters. I'm going to stop trying to keep up. Dangerous cross, and Salee got it clear to the middle of the field. Winters battles, wins it back for Georgia. Not on the same page with
Substitution for Auburn. Entering number 23, Tyler Kleiber.
This is Tyler Kleiber. She got a lot of run the other night. This is the first time we're seeing her today.
Yeah, she was excellent.
Gracie Brown, her first break.
Well, Gracie Brown had been much more active in that second half in terms of her involvement on the ball. A lot of that coming because of the change with Fleury being in a more central position. This Georgia back line has had to be much more aware of her, and because of that, they've dropped a little bit deeper in space in front of the back line. Good tackle has opened up.
Hayden Colson got into that one. more to tell you about Colson, but not while Auburn's on the move. Challenged her. They said, you're not ready to play the role that we need you to play next year. We don't know if you can get there, but here's how you can try. And James Armstrong said she passed everything they threw at her and is having just a fantastic year at that defensive midfield role, number 20 in navy blue.
And let's give some love to the defensive midfielders on both teams. I am a big fan of Hayden Colson. I think that she is such a key part to what this Auburn side wants to do on both sides of the ball. Doesn't get a lot of recognition for the grittiness that she possesses. Her willingness defensively gives that one away, but typically very good on the ball as well.
Elphick charging forward. Clyburn using her hands to try and stay with her. Now Summer Denigan on the move. Clyburn into the tackle. We play on. Devereaux just bangs it ahead, but it's all white shirts to collect. Denigan in a pocket of space here. Gets it back from Haley Gordon. This is Summer Denigan territory. And Ayana Yapo.
Well, you said it best. This is what Summer Denigan likes to do and where she likes to do it from. Right at the top of the 18-yard box, cutting in to find herself within the frame of goal.
I think everybody wants to be about 10 yards closer than they actually are in the attacking third right now. We're getting a lot of shots from outside the 18. Maybe a Sunday thing. Space here for Shelby Salee. Only got 2 in the box at the moment. Against the freshman Maddie Hernader, and that is easily won by Hernader. No contest that time.
If I closed my eyes and didn't look at any kind of graphics, didn't look at any like headshots.
How would you see the game if you closed your eyes?
Let me rephrase. If I just watched, right, and I had no idea who anybody was, and you told me that Maddie Hernader was a freshman, I would never believe you.
And that's not just today. She's been saying that all season.
What a job she has done.
See, space is opening up for Auburn here. This is Margie Brown, no relation to Sammy or Gracie or Nikki Izzo Brown. She stood up by Elphick. And the collective groan from the crowd as the pass got away. Casajuana into the right space for Jordan Crosby. Interesting to see, though, there's only 3 options in the box. Everybody else is standing for Auburn. Right, Colson and Casajuana are just standing in the middle. Not that they're not active all game, but you're going to come from behind. You need a few more numbers in the box, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I'd actually argue it's going to be more so on the outer parts of this midfield for Auburn to get involved. You don't necessarily want Colson leaving her job to screen the center backs and screen the back line of Auburn, but you really want the width, the players on the opposite side of the ball to be making those runs into the 18-yard box, selling out for the service. So you're spot on. They need more numbers inside the area, because they're getting into some good pockets. Ideas are right. But right now, Georgia just in a numbers up situation consistently in their defensive 18-yard box.
Change is coming thick and fast. Most coaches will get a lot of these subs in now. So quick breaks for Stouty and Hardin for Georgia. They're both back on the field now. Look at Asha Means go. National champion with North Carolina last year as a reserve. And she'll chase the game up top in that Woodson role for the moment for Auburn. '75th minute. Georgia still holding on to the 1-0 lead from the corner kick goal way back in the 8th minute. Here is Asha Means. Got it to Colson. Made the right decision to the near side, and Tyler Clyburn. Clyburn steps inside of Denigan. Has Crosby on the other side. That's out for an Auburn corner, their first of the game. One of those opportunities they've needed. And before they take it, we remind you that our all-new SEC Network Fall Football Weekday lineup, from Monday reactions to Friday previews, we have you covered throughout the season. Every show also available streaming on the all-new ESPN app. Clara Casawana, the freshman from Barcelona, to deliver the corner. First of the game for Auburn. Chisholm is there, heads it through the 6, and it's cleared away. Taylor Chisholm got to it. Tried to play it across the box instead of going for goal, and nobody in Navy could connect with it.
I actually think that she thought she was deeper inside the 6-yard box than she was. Right, she actually, from the vantage point we have of our booth, she actually had a wonderful position to put that one on frame.
Which is a luxury afforded us standing up here.
Absolutely.
And not Chisholm on the field running full stretch to head the ball. Ava Caldwell in for the first time for Auburn. Now, Colson surrounded and wins a free kick. And all year, Marion, it's been Auburn with a lead late. And something goes wrong, and they lose the result. They've dropped 5 points in the SEC from winning positions. Can they turn the tables today? Woodson fires it across. Casawana has the tying goal. Auburn turns things around, and there's still almost 14 minutes to go.
This is exactly what we talked about when you asked for more numbers inside the 18-yard box, and I said it had to come from the outer positions. Casawana is exactly who I'm talking about, and she knows that with the ball at Olivia Woodson's feet, this is my moment. She sells out for the run. An excellent run in front of Conte, who doesn't check her back shoulder, and what a timely finish. And Auburn, my goodness. What a response.
First collegiate goal for the 18-year-old. Came here age 17, said, I've been learning English my whole life. I've thought of the U.S. as a movie. It's like I'm in a movie being here. But trying to keep up with the speed of her teammates' talk has always been a challenge. She's going to have plenty to talk about on the next call home.
James Armstrong has got to be so pleased with that goal, because it's everything that he talked to us about at halftime. They were giving you, Georgia's giving you the wide spaces. Recognize that, check done, and then be diligent and disciplined with the final action. It was a brilliant ball in from Olivia Woodson.
Now remember, they were tied 1-1 with Oklahoma on Thursday night. James Armstrong said, I did not like the last 15 minutes. The stats bore him out. Oklahoma had the game's last 6 shots. We'll see if Auburn can close and build on that goal here. For Georgia, again, you've been sitting on this 1-0 lead, but unable to add to it for minutes. That's 2 points dropped in the race to get a top 4 seed. That is potentially significant.
Well, a couple significant things going on around the SEC right now as it pertains to both of these teams. You just mentioned Georgia. Well, Vanderbilt, who is on 16 points, Georgia is on 17. Vanderbilt has a 1-0 lead right now over the University of Tennessee, who is tied with Georgia at 17 points. So Georgia really needs to get some type of result out of this one to keep themselves at the second place in the standings and have a shot to topple Arkansas, who sits at the top. And then if you're this Auburn side, this equalizer, even if you just salvage a point from this game, that is massive. Because right now you're sitting on 7. Well, I have news for you. Florida tied Ole Miss 0-0 today.
What?
And Florida sitting on 11. You have now just opened yourself up, if you're Auburn, with this equalizer. If you can close this game out with something positive, you've opened yourself up to not just be about in the SEC tournament, but be a relatively decent seed in it as well.
There's some tricky stuff going on. That's kind of the beauty of this construction of the SEC tournament, is the race is 1-4, the race is 9-12, and of course the race for number 12.
Yeah, exactly.
pretty fascinating and tight. Tackle well won by Maya Towns. Interesting, they took Casawana out and put Gracie Brown back in. I was kind of like, let Casawana go. You got a goal.
She probably was too.
You got a goal scorer. You keep her on the field. Again, only Auburn's 10th goal in 9 games in conference play.
And that's also not a like-for-like change. Gracie Brown, much more of a defensive-minded presence, somebody who can actually help you close this game out, which is what we were just alluding to. Even just getting a 1 point here today is absolutely massive given some of the other results around the conference.
Go for the win, Marion.
Easy for us to say.
I know.
But I'm with you.
80th minute. More oohs and ahs. Auburn came in leading the conference. This is SEC games only, so you're comparing like against like. Leading the conference in shots, but 12th in scoring. We've seen why. Millie Filson back in for Georgia. Wide on the right for Hardin, also back in after a short rest. Taylor Chisholm flying around, sliding into that tackle. It is out for a Georgia corner.
On Auburn side, who has had the better of the second half, no doubt about it, better of the performances. These are the moments you gotta lock in. You cannot give up anything soft here.
Ooh, maybe some body contact up high, but nothing from our officials. We play on. Winters flying forward. Maddie Baker ahead of her. Now backward for Hernader. Stouty lost it between her feet for a moment, but steps forward and drives one wide of the target under some pressure.
Well, this is where Stouty is so good. Her ability to break lines, not only with her vision, but with the ball glued to her foot. She's always looking for ways to give herself 2 options. One of the options is going to be a pass to a teammate making a run to her left or her right. And the second option is that she always seems to find herself in a favorable shot window. A great strike from distance.
Erin Fleury back on for Auburn, albeit at a wingback position.
You know, at this time of year, you also can't understate the value that momentum has for a group. And I think that's something that this Auburn side has really been searching for, because they have been dealt quite a few heartbreakers in terms of their performances. And this one could be the confidence they need.
They're looking for a signature win, that's for sure. Second ball, cleared away to midfield. Inside runners, does some juking, gets around Denigan, but then loses out. That's over hit, and Yapo will collect for Auburn. For Auburn at forward, Woodson is back in wide right. Some of those attacking names we're used to. Drivers chasing this one. Layla Booker thinking about letting it go, but was able to hold her position and get out of the way to Conte. Booker transfer from Yale in the middle of that Georgia defense. Missed about a month due to injury, but they hope to have her healthy and available for the stretch run. Told you, Auburn is always tough for Georgia. Haven't beaten them in 10 years. The early goal to go up 1-0. Could not make it stand up. Now we're 1-1. Who's looking for the win in the final minutes? Maddie Baker tried to play it across. Lily Devereaux blocked it out for Auburn. Corner kick coming for the Bulldogs.
Well, Maddie Baker's reading my mind because as much possession as Georgia had, it hasn't really been meaningful, and there's not been the conviction we normally see from this Georgia Bulldogs side to get in line and fight for dangerous services. Baker does well.
Again, Denigan and Towns take it short. Baker has Towns in some space. Targets are still there. Olivia Woodson into the tackle and knocks it out for a corner. Or for a throw, I beg your pardon. Deep cross twisting. We've seen Georgia score that way from a couple different boots this season, but not that time. 4.5 minutes, Marion. Who does it behoove more to go for the win?
It's a dangerous question.
maybe nobody.
I actually think that both coaches are going to be pretty pleased with a draw here. Now, obviously, if you ask me who needs a win more, definitely Auburn. But they don't necessarily need a win at the expense of opening themselves up to lose this game. Yeah. And that's really the balance that James Armstrong is having to strike right now. How do we go for the win, but how do we make sure that we at least...
Game for Georgia, 2-2. Tyler Clyburn back in for Auburn and just left that one too far away from herself. It's one back by the Tigers. Fleury's pass was just a little out of reach. Clyburn's in space on the near side. That's who Auburn wants to get it to, and Devereaux finds her. Has Driver ahead. Great matchup here. Driver probably offside there. She was, and it'll be a free kick for Georgia.
I'll tell you what, that's been a grudge match, hasn't it? Driver and
Booker,
it has been non-stop physicality between those two. Excellent 1v1 duel.
Driver just 1 goal from that target forward spot, but 7 assists. We won't even get into penalty shouts. Again, Auburn, no points this year when trailing at the half, 0-3. So they're 3 minutes away from getting one, potentially having something to build on ahead of the Mizzou game next week. That'll be home for Auburn. Hogs a lot of steps during a game. Fleury wants to get it to Clyburn. A chance for Auburn to run here. Do they have the legs? Do they have the bodies? Clyburn steps inside of Hernader. Accurate feed. Grace Ivy. Driver is trying to stay onside there. They didn't call anything because the ball never got to her, and that shot from Ivy is not dangerous. That would have been interesting because I think she was off, and because the ball didn't get to her, it didn't get called. Filson trying to turn. Chisholm knocks it into the bench right near Croy Bethune, who's over there in decidedly different gear from the other Georgia staff. Auburn tying it up in the 77th minute. The first collegiate goal for Clara Casajuana.
I think there are things for the Georgia Bulldogs to be pleased with, no doubt about it, but Kadani McAlpine not going to be happy with the attacking performance.
On the weekend, it's still not bad, but neither performance is a plus in their mind. Auburn thought there was a foul. Driver gamely chases this one with Hernader. Plays while on the ground and keeps it in. That's a yellow card, you would think. It's just, yeah, there we go. It's got to be. Samantha Martinez, the referee.
Well, Dylan Driver has been excellent. She has worked her tail off, especially in the second half, trying to keep this momentum for the Auburn Tigers. Not only her link-up play, but her ability to get faced up. Earn a foul.
BK Harris got out of a tight spot. Jordan Crosby stepped but couldn't control it. Brought down by Devereaux at the back as we go inside the last minute. Georgia chasing a top 4 seed. Auburn chasing a bid in the SEC tournament. Devin Winters, crowd on its feet. Saw her pass picked off. Great body position there. I believe it was Brown to ensure there was no touch in the penalty area. Wind picking up now too in these frantic final moments. 20 seconds left. Georgia going after it. Denigan looking for the run of Harris. Too much on it. And that may do it this afternoon.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Auburn needed a result, and for the first time this year, they rally from a halftime deficit to get one.